Hi guys. So this is Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass is a comic that came out several years back, and they basically had this comic, and it was running for a while, for a couple of years, and then it was really good. This is number 4. This is issue 4 of the original one. There have been spin-offs. There's been all kinds of other parts of Kick-Ass, more of the story. But this cover is like crazy. It's got like a chainsaw and like she's got 2 swords and whatever. It's really, it's like hack and slash violence inside. But it's like hack and slash violence. It doesn't look realistically violent. It's just really freaking violent looking. But there's also a lot of action and a lot of cool stuff. So if you guys, and lots of action. Now this is cool because you see like how people are talking, but look, there's action in people talking. There's face expressions, there's like gestures, there's all kinds of, you can do so much with people just talking. And look, I mean, just what they wear is interesting, right? Some comics are like, oh, it's just people talking. It's people talk. No, make it interesting, you know? Like this comic makes it really interesting. Basically, he's a kid. Here's more violence. It's just hack and slash, like violence and stuff. So basically, he's a kid. He's a kid. He's in high school or something, like not even like a senior in high school. He's like first year or something in high school, right? And he wants to be a costume hero. He wants to be one of those guys that go out there, fight crime, you know, beat up the bad guys and like save the innocents, you know? But you know, so he goes out, he puts on some costume. He basically had a ski suit or something, and he modified it a little bit. He puts on this costume and he goes out to fight crime and save, you know, the innocent and save society, whatever. And so he does, he goes in there and he sees like some robbery happening, some 2 kids with switchblades, and they're like trying to rob somebody, and then he tries to stop it and basically gets his ass kicked. Like they beat him up, they throw them in front of a car, he gets totally like messed up, and it's fun. And it's like, and he realizes that like, holy shit. Because at first he was thinking, you know, why don't people do this? Why is it only in comic books that people go and fight crime and wear costumes? You know, why don't people actually do that? And then he gets his ass kicked with these guys, and then basically that was all in the first issue. And then he's like, he's gonna quit. He's gonna never do this again. And then he's like, no, he's gonna go back out there and he's gonna keep fighting crime. And he goes out there again. And eventually, he really starts to do it. Like, eventually, he does start to win. He does start saving people. He does start beating the bad guys, you know? And eventually, he becomes Kick-Ass. You know, he doesn't get his ass kicked. He kicks ass. So then he meets this person here, and she's actually also a costume hero, but she actually knows, you know, how to be one. She doesn't, you know, get her ass kicked. Basically, she knows how to use swords, and she's with this dude with a thing, and they look pretty ominous and everything. So they're real heroes, actually. They're just people, right? But they're actual heroes. These people actually go out and they do save people. So in today's world, there actually are people, real people, that dress up in hero costumes and go out, and even if they can't fight crime, they do good things for other people. Like, they help people out. Like, they go out, they'll try to fight crime, they'll try to, you know, clean up neighborhoods, and they'll try to do something good for the people and stuff. And if you go, like, if you Google them or something, if you just go online and then go costume superhero, real costume superheroes or real costume heroes or whatever, you're gonna see a list. These guys used to be on MySpace, and you would have a list of these people. They're in every state in America. I don't know if they're outside America. They probably are. They're in every state, and they basically get dressed up. Some of them, wear armor. Some of them wear protective armor and stuff, or some of them just put on a suit and go out and stuff. And they try to protect people, and they try to like save people and beat the villains and whatever, and try to like clean up the neighborhood and whatever. So yeah. So back to this. This is a really good comic. This came out all of a sudden like 2 years or so, 3 years after this comic came out. A movie adaptation came out, which is actually really good. But the comic is better. The comic is the original thing, and it starts off with today's society. It keeps go. It's basically cool because it's so modern. It uses cell phone like iPhones and stuff. I mean, it talks about, it has the internet. It's really, really modern, and it kind of is because the main character is a high school kid, so it kind of is for high school kids. But not only that, I mean, just because the character is a high school kid, but so anyway, there's this, and it just goes on, and then I guess like after a while, like, so I've read a few of these. I haven't read the spin-offs, but after a while, these costume heroes all find each other, and they all get together, and all of a sudden, like, they find like these costume villains, dudes that want to, wear, like, dress up in costumes, but instead of saving people, they're gonna go and rob stores, and they're gonna try to like, do all kinds of like, they're trying to rob banks or stores or rob people, whatever, or rip people off. And they're actual villains, that they actually get dressed up in costumes to be villains. And I guess where the story goes is that the villains and the heroes, they square off. It's just so interesting because these are just regular people depicted in the story. And it's just people that have this idea in mind. They just part of them want to do good, and part of them just want to be freaking villains. Like, I don't even know if they really want to. Like, I mean, they just want to be. They just want to rip off a store so that the recording of them ripping off the place goes viral, and everyone sees them in their costume, and they're like, aha, we're the villains. They want to just be a villain, just to be a villain, because that's what they want to be, not to like, not to get anything out of it, just because that's who they want to be. Just like these people want to be heroes, just because that's what they want to be, and they don't care that they have to go out there and fight crime and get their ass kicked once in a while to do it. It's really, really cool. So I don't know if you guys heard of it or saw the movie. This is better. This is the comic book. If you guys like comics, this is so violent, this cover. This is so freaking violent. It's really violent. Yeah. This is done by Mark Miller and John Romita Jr. Now, John Romita Jr. is a good artist, and that's why the art in here is so good. What's great about this is, I just want to go back to the art in here, is, as you see, you can see, like, it's the story and people are talking, but look, they have expressions, right? They wear like glasses and stuff. They have gesture, even though they're not really doing anything. Like this guy just looking at a computer screen, you see the computer glow in his eye. It makes it interesting to read. Even if the story is just about people talking to each other, which this is not. This has a lot of action. It's a lot of fun. And whatever you think about the plot, the story, in the comic book, this is a lot of fun about what happens even if it's far out, even if it's like doesn't really happen to the degree that it happens here. There are people that dress up and go out. I'm pretty sure there's villains that dress up and go out. You know, there must be. But this is just a fun story. And it's really well done. It's a great idea. And it's so much fun to watch this, to read this. And just more of the art, like, that's the costume he wears, right? As you can see, like, the panels are all different. Like a dude watching TV. That's not an interesting panel, right? But look at how they do. Look at the light and dark, the light coming out of the TV, the reflection on his glasses, and then a close-up of those glasses with the reflection, with like what the TV is saying here and his expression and his reaction to it. Pictures of that's okay. So that's Hit Girl, basically. That's her name, and I think this guy is also, I don't know if that's her dad, but I think he is in the comic book. And they're like rappelling down with a rope, and they rappel down, and I think he's watching them. And this is when he first realizes they exist, when he sees them and they rappel down. And what happens is it gets broadcast on the news, and I think his friend realizes who he is, because he's just like, he's a regular kid, and he goes to school, and nobody knows about this, and he didn't tell anybody. And he went to school, and basically I think what happens is his friend realizes he's doing this and wants to join him and also be a costume hero. And the story just evolves from there. And what's cool about it is they use a lot of modern technology. They're kids. It does go into a little bit of a story where they get in trouble with the mafia. See, this is like the mob. And whereas these two cats are actually going after the mob. I think Hit Girl, and that's her father. Well, they're both superheroes. She's the daughter, and he's a superhero. He taught her to be a superhero. Or hero, like just a costume hero. But then I think they go after these guys, which are gangsters. Right? And the story goes, it's really well drawn, it's really well told, it's a lot of fun, and those two actually really do kick a lot of ass because they really know what they're doing. Yeah. Check it out. You can get this, I recommend, like, now, to get this in, this is when the little floppies were coming out, but I do recommend getting this in a, what do you call it, in the trade paperback, because that's a collection of like all of the comics, and you're gonna like this. Everyone liked this comic. Get the trade paperback, and it just has the collection of the whole story from beginning to end and everything. And there's various, start with Kick-Ass before you read the other stuff. There's a lot of other stuff that this is spawned over. Start with Kick-Ass, read the first one, and yeah, so cool. So check this out. If you haven't, if you have, let me know what you thought of it. Please like and subscribe, and leave any comments if you have something in mind you want to say. And yeah, so take care, guys, and have a good day.